Welcome everybody to a video on multiplying polynomials. So we're given this problem. We are asked to find the product of c minus 4 times 4c squared plus 2c plus 4. In order to multiply polynomials, we must multiply every term of one polynomial by every term of the other polynomial. And really, it's just a way to do the distributive property, but we need to make sure we multiply every term by each other. So the way we're going to do this is we are just going to start with this first term c and just make sure that we distribute it into every single term of this polynomial that we're multiplying by. So we're going to take c and multiply it by all three of those. And then when we are done with that, we are going to take this negative 4 and we are going to multiply it into all three of these terms as well. We will combine like terms for a simplified product. So let's get started here. I am going to first rewrite this by distributing this c into every single one of these. So this is going to be a little bit lengthy, but bear with me as we go through this. So c times 4c squared, and I'm going to keep parentheses around them, plus c times 2c plus c times 4. And then we're going to move on to the next one. So then we're just going to keep going. Negative 4 times 4c squared. Then we have negative 4 times positive 2c. And then finally a negative 4 times the positive 4. So now that we've distributed each term to the polynomial of the other term, to the terms of the other polynomial, we're just going to carry out the multiplication of each one. So here we have c times 4c squared. Remember, when we just have a variable by itself, there is a power of 1 here. So to multiply variables with each other, we add the exponents. So we multiply coefficient by coefficient. Again, there's a 1 out front here, but we just don't write it because it's not needed. So we have 1 times 4, which is 4, and then c times c is c cubed. Again, we're just adding the exponents. 1 plus 2 is 3, so it gives us 4c cubed. Moving along here, c times 2c, 1 times 2 is 2, c times c is c squared, and keep moving along. Multiplying these two doesn't really change much. We just kind of squeeze them together to give us 4c. Here we have plus a negative 4 times 4c squared. Again, multiply the two numbers together, gives you negative 16. And the variable comes along for the ride, negative 16 squared. I'm going to keep that in parentheses so we don't get confused with the negative. Moving along still, negative 4 times 2 gives you negative 8. And again, the c comes along for the journey. And then finally, at the end, we have negative 4 times a positive 4. Of course, that is negative 16. So once we are to this point, we have to look and see what like terms that we have. So our first term here is a c cubed, and I don't see any other c cubed terms, so that is its own term on itself. Moving on to the next term, I see we have a 2c squared, and we also have another negative 16 squared. So those are like terms because they have the same variable and the same exponent, so we need to combine those. And then we also have a 4c, so just a singular c by itself, and a negative 8c, which we will also combine. And then finally at the end, we just have a constant here, which can't be combined with anything else because it is alone by itself. There are no other constants here to combine. So as we combine like terms, 4c cubed just stays 4c. We combine the 2c squared minus the 16c squared, and that becomes a negative 14c squared. Again, that's just 2 minus 16 gives you negative 14, and the term stays the same. It's c squared. Since now we are combining like terms, we're not multiplying, we're just adding and subtracting them. Here we have 4c minus plus a negative 8c, which is just 4c minus 8c, which gives you negative 4c. And then finally, that constant negative 16 comes down for a complete expression of 4c cubed minus 14 squared minus 4c minus 16. And that is your product after multiplying those two polynomials.